simple technique that will help you to improve the expertise and competence of your staff, and therefore by making them into more valuable employees to bring value back into your business. But at the same time, to build a culture of understanding that things don't always go right, that people make mistakes or they may lack knowledge where they need to. And there is a method for actually fixing and doing something about it that everybody in the company can learn from. And lastly, at the same time, building a essential knowledge base so that people don't repeat the same mistakes and have something to look into and to as a resource in order to improve their own techniques in the future. Okay, so today's episode really came from a couple of meetings I had today. Firstly, with one of my staff as a one-to-one meeting, and then following on from that, during a group elite coaching session that I was facilitating. And the same subject came up, and it was about handing over responsibility to someone and how do you give them the knowledge and the confidence in order to speak on your behalf, to make decisions on your behalf, and to do that in a way that you would be happy with. And so that was the context behind it. But the lessons that I'm going to talk about now, the techniques I'm going to talk about, really work for any situation where somebody needs to upskill or improve, or maybe they made a mistake and therefore they need to gain some knowledge to make sure that mistake doesn't happen again in the future. And about how do we really double down and make the most out of that opportunity for learning, not only for that person, but for everybody else. And how do we actually make sure those lessons have been learned and therefore we're not hopefully going to repeat the mistakes again. So this technique really came from my days working as a doctor or as a junior doctor in the hospital. And one of the things that we were encouraged to do, actually not encouraged, we were forced to do it, was to give a short presentation every week, and it would rotate around the junior doctors in the department. And we give a short presentation on a subject that was relevant to what we were doing at the moment, or something out of the syllabus, or something, as in this example, where maybe it was obvious that I or the person doing it lacked the essential knowledge needed, and therefore you were tasked with actually teaching the rest of the group everything they could possibly know or need to know about that particular subject. So therefore you became the expert. And this is the key here. I think the take-home lesson is that what we're trying to do here is turn someone's weakness or failure or lack of understanding into one of their strengths. Because the more times we do that, we consistently are up in the game and then pushing that bar up about what we can expect from our staff, because they are continually improving. So it's about creating a culture of continual improvement for your staff. I talk about this culture of continual improvement for your systems, but that also goes for your staff. And this goes a long way to do that. And so in the example for my work today, for myself, it was actually one of my staff who I've recently got involved in my coachings. They're facilitating, they're actually coaching my clients on one of my programs now. And there was actually a misunderstanding from her about one of the key elements of my methodology. And this came up in conversation, and it came to light that actually, yeah, she misunderstood a little part of something. And so we discussed it and we rectified the problem and we addressed that and we shared that knowledge with the group, with the clients, and that was all good. But off the back of that, I came up with the idea that I'm going to actually get her to become the expert at this. She is going to get so good at this that she's going to be able to suggest to me ways we could improve my own methodology. And so I've asked her to go away as a first step, to go away and to create a short presentation, not needing slides or anything like that unless she wants to, but more about just thinking about this, putting structure behind it, going through all the training we have already available from this, and then delivering that back to me and my staff during our company meeting. The benefits of this are going to be a couple of different benefits. Firstly, she is now going to be confident that she now has those skills, and she's been given the time and authority, and actually she's been made in inverted commas to go and actually do that learning right now while it's pertinent, while it's sort of fresh in the mind of the incident which caused this whole thing to happen, when there was a bit of misunderstanding. And the second thing is that she's going to share this knowledge with the team. So we're going to bring to the forefront of everybody's attention this important part of our methodology. And in this case, it's about how we deal with inputs into a task. It's not really relevant what the subject is, but the fact is, I'm pretty sure that the rest of my staff will struggle with this too if my operations manager and coach had a difficulty with it. I know this is also something that many of our clients do actually struggle with. And so maybe it's a wake-up call for me as well to say, well, actually, could we improve the training on this? Can we use actually the presentation she's about to give as additional training by giving a different perspective on the same problem? So what she says will be different from the way I say it, and therefore actually getting two perspectives on the same problem. So there's lots of wins here with regards to like how we're going to actually utilize this. And furthermore, we can add that recording of her giving this presentation. So we'll do this on a Zoom meeting, and then we just cut out a little bit of recording, and we can whack that into our knowledge base so that in the future, if somebody has any misunderstandings about this thing, they can go back there, watch this, and hopefully that will clear everything up. And what we'll probably do, because I'm a coach, is we'll put this into the training course as well as her work or her understanding and explanation of this quite challenging concept. That will then up her authority in the course as well, because she's actually delivering real life content and also give a different perspective for helping people. So there's loads of ways in which this actually works to improve the knowledge of everybody involved, especially the person who this, the incident happened with, and also to capture that and then actually store that for the future. And the other really important part of this, and this actually led to a huge conversation about acknowledging struggles and challenges, and we actually had tears in today's company meeting, when people were opening up about things they were struggling with. And it was a really emotional meeting, and one which I think has just set the path for us to really improve the way we deal things going forward. So I encourage you to open up these conversations in your group. And what I'm trying to say here is that, so what I'm talking about here is that the ability or the ownership of this mistake or this problem or this misunderstanding, and then the subsequent improvement of that situation, the learning and the delivery and the training off the back of that, puts in a really good example of how it's okay to do things wrong. It's not a massive problem if in your business, and it shouldn't be if people screw up, because everyone's going to screw up. But it's what you do about it afterwards that matters. And this, I think, sets a really good example of how you can turn a negative into a massive positive for all the reasons I've just said. So that's it for today. I just want to share that. It's a simple technique that if you've got a staff member who you feel they could improve their knowledge somewhere, they've made a mistake, they've not quite got the good enough understanding about something that's important, get them to create a short presentation, to deliver that to the rest of your team, and then get feedback of how maybe it could improve further. Capture that experience, put it into a knowledge base. You've got that to refer back to anytime in the future. And if, like me, you deal with clients or other people that you could share this with and for them to benefit as well, then do that as well. It's an absolute win-win. And the knock-on effect of this, or the added benefit, I should say, is that you are really you are what's the word I'm looking for? You are enforcing, that's the wrong word. You are demonstrating that making mistakes is totally okay. It's what you do about it that matters. And actually, if you facilitate the sharing of the knowledge you gain from actually rectifying mistakes, it can actually be seen as a massive positive, and it takes away any of the potential negatives from that particular experience. So that's it. I hope you find this helpful. If you have, please do, as always, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a comment, check out the show notes, and if you're feeling very generous, give us a rating on your favorite app. Thanks very much.